This is the third lesson of our channel's course of Homeric Greek, a general introduction to the language of Homer and the first encounter with the legendary lines of the Iliad. In this lesson, we will continue studying the first declension of nouns. Furthermore, as in every episode of our series, we will supply the student with additional vocabulary and also with challenging exercises. But before we proceed, let us make a short recap of what we have learned thus far. In the previous lessons, we learned how to pronounce the letters of the Greek alphabet as well as the various diphthongs. We also learned how to correctly stress the Greek words, and we also studied a paradigm of the first declension. This paradigm being the noun boulee, meaning will, wish. Now, let us study the formation of three more female nouns of the first declension, namely Thea, meaning goddess, Thalassa, meaning sea, and Gaia, meaning earth. The declension of the two nouns is pretty similar to the one of boulee, and we should observe that the original long alpha rarely remains the same throughout the whole declension, as is the case in Thea, where alpha remains the same. Now, let us proceed with the examples. Our first example is the noun Thea. Let us study the singular of this noun, the nominative. How should we pronounce the nominative?
Thea.
Okay, Thea. Okay. And the genitive?
Theas.
Okay. The accent here is an accent that rises and falls. And this small sign under the alpha in dative, what does it mean?
Is iota.
It is a iota. Okay, a subscript iota. And this sign under the accent and above the letter in accusative.
This means that we have a long vowel.
Okay, this is a long vowel. And this is the opposite.
A short vowel.
A short one. Okay. What does the dual number indicate? What does it mean? Singular is a single object. The dual?
It represents things that usually are in pair on nature, like feet, like ears.
Feet, ears, nostrils, eyes, etc., etc. The genitive is the very same as the dative. Can we pronounce the dative and genitive?
We will try. Thein.
Thein. Okay. We have a long e and two e's. Okay. And the plural. For instance, the genitive.
Theaon.
Okay, theaon. Correct. That was correct. This is the first example. As we mentioned earlier, the original alpha remains the same pretty much throughout the whole declension. There are a few exceptions. But let us see what happens in a noun like thalassa. In thalassa, we will observe that the original alpha turns into heta in genitive and dative of the singular. Can we try to pronounce the genitive of singular?
Thalasses.
And the dative of the plural?
Thalasseisi.
Thalasseisi. Okay. Again, what does this mean?
That we have a long ending, a long vowel on the end.
A long vowel. Another question. Stress is in the antepenultimate in the nominative. which means the third syllable from the ending. But here it is in the penultimate, the second from the ending. Why does this happen?
It happens on these cases, on genitive, dative and accusative, I think.
Yes, but why does it happen in in this particular accusative?
Because the ending...
And it doesn't happen in this accusative. Why does it happen in this one?
Because we have a long vowel on the ending.
Exactly. That's right. We cannot have a stress in the penultimate, antepenultimate, if we have a long ultima. Now let us proceed to our third example. What does the word thalassa mean?
Sea.
Sea, okay. And what does the word Gaia mean?
Earth.
Earth. Gaia. It is the same in English.
Geo.
Geo. Geology.
Geolocation.
Geodynamics, etc., etc. Let us read the accusative of the dual.
Gaia.
Gaia. And the nominative of the plural.
Gaiai.
Okay, the second vowel, the I, is not a long one because it is a diphthong. It is an I. It is treated as a whole. I.
Gaiai.
Gaiai. Okay. Now that we are familiar with the female nouns of the first declension, we shall study our vocabulary and show some translation examples. Now this is the vocabulary for our lesson. In each lesson we give additional vocabulary. Each time it is more challenging than the last one. The first word, gar, always comes second. It is always the second word in a sentence and means for, in fact, and it is affirmative. The second word, can we pronounce it?
De.
De. And which is the difference of the first letter with modern Greek? What is the difference?
The letter D. In modern it is the.
The. The instead of de. Always comes second as well. It's the same as with gar. And it has the meaning but, and, so, for. And usually comes in pair with men. This one, it is a verb.
AC.
AC. And what does it mean?
They are.
Okay, they are or there are. It is third plural. They. And this one?
ST.
ST. He, she, it, is. Now this one.
Ek.
Ek. And another
X.
way to pronounce it, X. X if it is followed by a vowel. It becomes X. With genitive, it means from, out of. With genitive means that this word always comes with a noun or an adjective in genitive. Epi, another word of which the meaning changes depending on the case of the noun that follows. With genitive, it means upon, against. With dative, upon, in, against, about, and with accusative, to, up to, over. Various and different meanings for each case. This is the noun that we studied earlier, thalassa, meaning sea, and the other one, thea. And of course it doesn't mean bad, poor, ugly. This is a mistake. Thea means a goddess. Killa, which is a city, a town in Troad. This one,
O.
And the other ways to pronounce it?
Oak. Oak.
Okay, oak and oak.
Oak.
And which is the difference? Which one do we use? Depends on what?
Depends on the following. If it follows a vowel, we use oak.
If a vowel follows and the vowel has a heavy breath, dacia. If it has the heavy breath, the original k of the oak becomes a k of the oak, and it means no. It is used in the negative forms of the verbs. This one,
Patre.
meaning fatherland. It has, in a sense, it is related to the word pater, father.
And that comes the patriot.
A patriot. Exactly. Because it is the fatherland, land of our fathers. This one.
Πολλέ.
Πολλέ. Much, many, numerous. It is in the female form. Now this one is a nice one.
Πουρέ.
Puree. Funeral pyre. We should mention that the Achaeans didn't bury their... The Achaeans buried, actually. The historical Achaeans did actually bury their dead, like the tomb of Atreus in the Mycenae. But in Homer, in the Homeric poems, in the Homeric epics, the dead of the Argives, of the Achaeans, they are burned. They have funeral pyres. And our last word, a metaphysical one.
Ψουχέ.
Psyche, a soul, breath.
Ψουχέ.
Exactly. Always also means life, spirit. They are all related, one to the other. It is important to mention that regular practice is needed in order to memorize the vocabulary. Now, it is time to practice our new skills with a few examples. As in the previous lesson, we will do one translation from each group. Let us begin with the Greek to English one. Let us proceed with this example. The first one. Let us take each word and translate it to English, and then give the full translation of the phrase. Let us begin with the first word.
Καλέ. Good. A good one.
A good one. Male or female?
A female.
A female. And the second word.
Θεά.
Thea, the nominative of goddess.
A good goddess.
A good goddess. It could also mean a beautiful goddess. The third word.
In Homeric word, beautiful is good.
Good is beautiful always, always. The third one.
Ekhe.
Ekhe.
Has. It has.
Third person, okay.
Boulen.
Boulen, which means
A will. A thought.
a will, a thought, a wish. And the last word.
Kalen.
Kalen, okay. Another good one.
So in
And this is actually a good will.
So in general, a good goddess has a good will.
Okay. This is the right translation of this paradigm. Let us see another one. It's pretty much like the previous one. First word.
Καλέ.
Kalé. Means
A good
a
one.
good one. The second word, the very same as in the last example.
Θεά.
Goddess. The third word.
Ouk.
Oak. What does that mean?
It means does not actually.
Alright.
Not.
It indicates a negative. So the verb that follows is in the negative form.
Ekhe. We saw it before. It has.
Just like before.
It does not have.
He,
here.
she, it has. Okay, in this case, doesn't have. She doesn't have. What she doesn't have?
Psychen,
Psychen, which means,
a soul.
okay, soul, breath, spirit. What does this word mean?
Kaken,
Which means
bad one.
bad one or an ugly one. So,
It is the same meaning as before, but with the opposite writing. A good goddess does not have a bad soul.
So the fair goddess doesn't have a bad soul. This is the correct translation. Now we should see the English to Greek one. So we begin with the first example. Are the good plans dear to the souls of the goddesses? Let us begin with the word goddesses, which means,
In Greek.
yes, in Greek,
Theaon.
of the goddesses, right. This is the right case, the genitive,
Yeah.
genitive of the plural. And what about to the souls? What case is this?
I think accusative.
Accusative or
Dative.
dative? It is a dative. And which is the singular of the word soul in Homeric Greek?
Psyche.
Exactly. And what is the dative of the plural?
Psyche.
We can fathom this by going to our example, to an example like thalassa, and study the dative of the plural, which is thalasseisi. And so the ending is eisi.
Psycheisi.
Right. This is the right case. This is the right form. So psycheisi. And how can we say dear in ancient Greek?
Phile.
Okay. And plans?
Bolas.
Okay. Should we use an accusative here? Or should we use a nominative?
I told it in modern Greek actually.
Mm-hmm.
Boulai.
Okay, this is the nominative. And how are we to say good plans?
Kalas. Boulas.
Yes, but we need the nominative, not the accusative.
Kalai.
Yes.
Boulai.
Kalai, boulai.
Eisin
Mm-hmm.
are Philai.
Okay.
Psycheisi.
Psycheisi.
Psycheisi. Theaon.
Okay, theaon. Psycheisi theaon. Are the good plans dear to the souls of the goddesses? So the whole is kalai boulai, psychesin theaon, pillai eisin. Notice the place of the verb in the very ending of the sentence. Our lesson has been completed. Thus far, we are familiar with the sounds of Homeric Greek, various first declension nouns, and the accentuation of the words. Until our next episode, have a great time studying Homer.